So, imagine for a sec. You are in hell. Wow, what a start, huh? But yeah, you're in hell, and the devil, who sent you there, gives you two things. A gun and a contract. That when you shoot the final bullet of said gun, it will kill your most beloved. Whether that be a family member, or a good friend, or a non-existent anime girl, whatever it may be, it will shoot them down. From whenever, wherever you go. Oh, and the devil will also follow you around because... why not? Yeah, so that is essentially the backstory of those two abnormalities in a nutshell. Okay, so this is the second video of my Abnormality Monster series thing. I'll think of a proper name later. And in this video, we're talking about the two Devil Marksman abnormalities, their Frei shoots and their Fluch shoots. Yeah, I definitely botched that even with the 3 years of experience in German that I have when I was taught it in school. So instead, I'll just call them der Frei and der Fluch and move on from there. But yeah, these two abnormalities are very cool looking design-wise, and lore-wise, they're also quite nice. Hence the reason that I'm talking about them in general. Also, Otis is getting the magic bullet ego, so yeah, that's also another reason why I'm talking about them as well. So, yeah, let's begin. This abnormality is probably the most popular abnormality that can be easily recognized by almost anyone in the Project Moon fanbase. Other than White Knight, Apocalypse Bird, or that fucking magical girl bitch, der Frei appears in all 3 games as an abnormality, an ego suit used by Angela, and in Otis's magic bullet ID, which is kinda fitting for her. So anyways, yeah, how did the abnormality come to be exactly though? Well, it's literally the same as said in the intro. He was a marksman, he died, he met the devil, got a contract for the last 7th magical bullet kills their most beloved, and a gun. And with that knowledge, he killed all of those he loved, which, with the last bullet he shot himself, because he had no one else to love but himself. At least that's what I presume, but let's not focus too much on the speculative stuff just yet. So after the last bullet shot him, the contract ended, and since there is no reason to keep on following him, the devil left. So now the marksman is now free to do whatever he wants, but this time as a devil. He traveled to many worlds through impulse, helping people or shooting them down, and being called a righteous hunter or a bloodstained gunman along the way. Until he appeared in Alcor as an abnormality, and then after those events, becomes a book in the library, and then appears again in Limbus in a mirror world of Alcor, with Otis having its ego gear, as said before. Oh, and der Frei is also mentioned by Yuri in her announcer lines when a character kills multiple enemies at once. Okay, cool, that's all the in-game lore that I can find at least, so, yeah. What else can I talk about it before moving on? Their design is cool, and quite edgy. But it is fitting if you take into account the source of inspiration the abnormality comes from, which is an opera that has the same name as the abnormality, der Freischütz. The opera has a demonic character named Samuel, the Black Huntsman, who gave a couple characters magic bullets to duke it out essentially. So this dude is essentially the devil both in the opera and in the games, which is kinda cool, I guess. Alright. With most of the facts finished, let's talk more on theories. Starting from the beginning, why is the contract extremely fucking loose? Like, is the only part of the contract just, here's a magic gun that you can use and the last bullet is going to kill the person you love the most? Like, this is a stupid fucking contract. Like, is there even anything else? Like, anything else that would make the contract more required of you to use said gun? Like, you have to kill a person once a day with this gun, and on the 7th day you kill your girl. But if not, this is such a stupid contract. Like, you can literally just not use the gun. That's what I'd do if I was given such a bullshit contract. But then again, why did the fucking dude just kill his loved ones instead? Well, I believe it has something to do with the devil. Since the devil ultimately wished for despair, and that despair wears down the mind and drains one's will to go forward. When one feels there's nothing left to go for, their souls fall down to hell, the devil's domain. This is why the devil finds it more entertaining to watch people fall to despair rather than to simply kill them. We describe it as selling one's soul to the devil. Essentially, the marksman was more like mentally in the wrong place in hell and has already sold his soul to the devil, so in an awkward way, he kind of didn't have much of a choice. Now, moving on, let's talk on what I consider to be the biggest elephant in the lore room, which is der Frei's ability to travel between worlds. Now, traveling between worlds is technically possible, as seen with Wild Hunt Heathcliff, but then again, he was a special case, with Encore being the main reason why he even exists. In our world, at least. I don't know about his original world, but from my memory at least, Encore is the reason why Earlkin was capable of traveling the different mirror worlds through their mirror tech, so that's something. But what about their Frei? I'm pretty sure that they can't use mirror tech. Well, I'd say in his case, it's more flavor text if anything, since from what we know about abnormalities, and them being essentially the physical manifestations of humanity's inner thoughts and emotions that come from the river, now it's more impossible for their Frei to be capable of that. With the lack of other abnormalities, who wasn't mentioned to be capable of crossing different worlds, especially those who seem to be capable, yeah, no, that's not happening. I'ma keep it real. Now, let's move on to the other cursed bullet version of their Frei, who is more of a bitch in my opinion. Despite the term aberrations not being used after a long time, their Fluch is just the same as their Frei, but instead of killing their loved one, they instead just forget about them from their memory, and started blasting people's heads with the rifle in a smoke war-like setting. However, despite that fact, they kept a keepsake that for some reason he never noticed when he forgot about her. But as this bullet never actually shot any one of their beloved, the contract has never ended, and the devil still follows them. So when Dante and his group arrives to this event, you are approached with two options. Either tell it about the pregnant, or tell it you're on its side, since you are on a war zone. Depending on the choice, you will either see him continue his own killing spree, or have him try to kill you in anger because you remember the girl in the pendant, but instead shoot his beloved because of that fact. So the bullet teleported towards her, and the devil is satisfied and leaves, while the abnormality cries and is sad for killing his beloved. Anyways, free Poise Ego, hell yeah, let's go! Other than that though, yeah, there's not much to talk about when it comes to more lore. Hope we eventually find more about it later, but for now though, let's talk about Ego. There are currently 2 Foul Bullet Egos for Heathcliff and Yasan, and 1 Magic Bullet Ego that is coming out on Walpurgis for Otis. Let's start with Otis, because why not? So when I originally scripted this video, I had no idea what the ego would represent for Otis, since I know little about her lore. However, I did presume that the ego would have something of a devil aspect, since Otis, in her ID, makes a deal with their Frei, and the devil made a deal with their Frei as well. Though maybe the whole aspect of deals could work, but then the trailer came out and instead it took aspects of practically almost everything about their Frei, and not just this one. So I was completely off the mark with that. And design-wise, she looks the same as the fucking ID. Other than the corrosion though, she gets more shadowy with it, where originally I thought that she would be similar looking to the Angela ego, which looks kinda badass, but whatever. Also, am I counting right, or is she shooting 9 times instead of 7? Well, moving on. As for Yi-san and Heathcliff, well, I can't talk more definitively about those two, but thematic-wise and design-wise. The Foul Bullet egos, in general, look bland and worn out, which fitting, I'd say. As for the corrosions, however, they are very unique. Usually corrosions would just be abnormalities, but with the character's hair and potentially their faces. However, in this case, design-wise, they are probably the most unique looking corrosions ever. Heathcliff turns into a heart, which fits him because despite the fact that he loves Catherine, if he was the abnormality, then for anything, yeah, he would shoot and shoot and shoot, so that only the firing of his gun would be the only thing he could remember. And as for Yi-san, his memories are the beloved, so he fires at random and kills anyone, forgetting and fragmenting his memories as time goes on, with only his instincts to fire upon anyone. Or it's just a reference to his fucking mirror, I don't know. All this is subjective and I'm not a philosopher. Alright, in conclusion, their Frei is popular for a great reason, while their Fluch is underrated as well. Subscribe, I'm out.